Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
All right, welcome back, Thirsty fans. And today we are doing Serenity Now from season 9. And Tony, what do you have for your first up?
Serenity now, Serenity now. Two up and two down. We got to find two ups and we got to find two downs for this episode. Full disclosure, Serenity Now was a fantasy football team name for me for quite a while, which may seem surprising as we get into this a bit more. But yeah, Serenity Now. My first up, and again, this is season 9, so we're picking out some things that may not be fully fleshed out. They're more kind of here and there kind of stuff. My first up is gonna be, and I look at this as an ode to The Simpsons, to be honest with you. The old Frank Costanza. We know Frank Costanza's got a soft spot in my heart. Now we'll get to the rest of this episode, but I got to give Frank's due. I saw a provocative movie on cable, on TV, with the girl from the bus. Kind of a nod to Homer Simpson with the bus. It was called The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down. We're talking about speed. I think that I don't know if it really is a nod, but I always put those two together in my head. Anyway, that's my first up. Is Frank Costanza's line. I saw a provocative movie on cable TV, with the girl from the bus. And we were all there, internet starting out, the whole thing, late 90s. What is this thing? All that kind of stuff. So I get it. A newer generation may not get where that's coming from, but it was kind of funny. It is kind of funny. It's Frank. That's my up.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Good one. Chris, over to you. What is your first up?
Yeah. First up, I'm going to go friend of the show. Lloyd Braun. 2 here, of course. Mr. McCoy, of course. Serenity Now, Insanity Later. And yeah, this was his second appearance. Obviously, the Insanity thing, and you have him selling computers. I think it was fun to have him in the garage. I think we'll get into it later, but obviously, we know Estelle favors him. I think they keep going back to that, but I think he brought a little stability to this episode, believe it or not. It was good to have him back. He didn't overdo it. But I think that was a great line when he was leaving, right? He kind of put a pin on this whole Serenity Now thing and then talked about Insanity later. So, Matt McCoy, what a professional, what a great guy. So for me, he's going to be my first up for the Serenity Now.
Yeah, good call there. Matt McCoy, one of my favorite guests to have on the podcast, too. So, Tony, over to you. What do you have for your second up?
Second up, I just, what? The scene makes me laugh. I gotta say, it made me laugh again on the rewatch today, to be honest with you. Kramer with the hose yelling to George, hoochie mama, while he's getting blasted with the silly string. O'Hara's rubbing his face. I gotta give Kramer his due. I laugh at just the intensity of that scene of just Kramer, put everything else aside, put the bullshit aside, put the computers aside, put everything aside, and just focus on this one little scene of just Kramer, do it, and George is not going to do it, and then George doesn't do it, leaves Kramer hanging as he gets blasted with the silly string, yelling hoochie mama, hoochie mama, hoochie mama. I don't know. I don't like myself for doing it, but that's an up. That is my up. Is the K-Man getting blasted with silly string.
Well, there you have it. You found something good about the Serenity Now. So, Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
Your pink hat is in the mail, my friend. What's interesting about that is, by the way, you turn on a hose. Well, just turn on the water, then you control the hose from the handle. I just never even understood that. Why didn't he need George at all? Actually, just to play along here, Tony's going to hate this one, okay? I have other ups, but what the hell? I don't want to. I could dip in Frank again, but let's not. Because we know how Tony feels about season 9 Jerry, but Jerry yelling at Kramer, and then Kramer giving him that look, and yelling at Kramer, "Get out of here!" And like Kramer just actually bursts out laughing. How about that one? So that's my first up. It felt organic. I know it was silly. I get that. Like Lori Loughlin, the whole thing, showing emotion, that went a little too far. But his first initial yelling at Kramer, and obviously Kramer not taking it seriously, laughing. Second up.
All right, yeah, thank you there. So there you go, the ups. So now we got to do the downs. Tony, what's your first down here?
Yeah, I mean, that one I didn't like, the Kramer fake laugh at Jerry's yelling. I mean, this episode, I mean, there's so much here. Man. All right, we'll get to some of this in grades, I think. So let me just give my first down. My first down, and maybe it's too broad, but the computer selling. I mean, just every one of those scenes is more cringeworthy than the next. Estelle yelling, "You're not giving me a water pick," is not saving it, especially when he does it like probably 3 or 4 times. I'm guessing. I probably has to count, but just the overall, the chalkboard, but really, if you want to give me one down, if I'll just give one down, it's the all encompassing of that whole selling the computers is George. "You want to buy a computer? No. Why? Okay." I mean, that is in its core probably, and we probably said this a few times now, but that might have been the worst George Costanza like 5 seconds I've ever seen. Just pick up the phone, scream about getting a sale, then no, why, and then that good point, and then it's so bad. And for any of you pink hats, I'm making a joke about me being a pink hat because I like that. Fine, but any of you pink hats out there who are gonna say, "Oh my gosh, don't you get it?" Compare that George picking up a phone and screaming to any of the other Georges you want to talk about. To "I was in the pool," to you get in the mood, to "my mother caught me." I mean, on and on and on. The coffee's not sex. I mean, this is Costanza yelling into a phone, selling a computer. I mean, you can even tell that even Jason Alexander himself is like cringing doing that scene, mailing it in, collecting his check, but he's got to just feel like, God damn, what happened to my character? I kind of went off there, but that's my down is the selling of the computer, specifically George screaming at the guy, "You want to buy a computer? No. Okay, bye." Horrible.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree there. So, Chris, over to you. What do you got for your first down?
Yeah, and just to add to that, like, Mr. Vanderlei, like, enough with the Vanderlei stuff, okay? And I know they did it in the finale too, but like, again, this is Steve Corrin. He thinks he's, doing an, homage to Larry David and everybody else. Just keep Vanderlei put in the vault, as they say. All right, you mentioned George computers, of course. I mean, geez, and for me, it's gonna be Elaine and the Mr. Lippman stuff, and the son both of them trying to make out with Elaine. Lippman's not that guy. What are we doing here? Why are we even bring him back, Lippman? I know we brought him back in the Muffin Tops. I know a lot of you guys love that episode too, and we're still talking about Muffin Tops when we see it at CVS, the whole thing. But Lippman's not that guy. He's just not that guy. Like, season 8 and 9, not only are they changing core characters, right, with George and Elaine, but now they're changing guest stars? Come on, man. Lippman's that guy. You know who Lippman is. He's that guy who fired George, right, in a tough fashion, to now he's, making out, trying to make out Elaine and the bar mitzvah. Just just another wasted plot line. Like, the computers probably overshadowed that. I hear you, but don't overlook that Elaine, like, and then Elaine's talking about, I got 10 other invites to all these other bar mitzvahs. Like, when? She told him that day or that next day. Like, Anyway, obviously off. So Elaine, boom, down. Lippman, first down.
No, absolutely. Two good points so far from both of you. So, Tony, your second down, please.
Yeah, that was going to be my second down, but I assumed he was going to take it. I have plenty more written down, but I totally agreed. I mean, Lane's storyline was terrible. We already touched. I just gave George as my first down, which was his storyline. O'Hara just gave basically Elaine's full storyline, tying Lippman into it, of course, and that's the second down. I mean, O'Hara mentioned Jerry up with the yelling at Kramer. Fine, I'll give you that. I kind of liked one of his lines when I love you, Costanza. But other than that, this Jerry storyline of opening up and the salty discharge, and you want to give me one funny line when he goes, I'm open, there's nothing there. Fine. But then we just hammer this thing home with Jerry screaming and wants to propose to Elaine. And then to top it off, I don't want to steal it down here, but we'll just stick with that. The Jerry stuff is just bad enough that's just a down. That's a full down. Just Jerry, the whole opening up and yelling and getting, they can kiss 1% of my ass and the whole thing. It seems very meta too. I don't like when they do this Jerry stuff. Jerry's neat and Jerry's thin and Jerry's this and like a nuts. I don't like that stuff. It gets a little too inside baseball with them, and that's how Jerry is. And there's a few of those kind of things in this episode I don't like. And that's it. I mean, Jerry's my down. Jerry's my down.
Yeah, that's tough when the start of the show is a down. So, Chris, over to you. What's your second one?
Yeah, I kind of touched on this. Obviously, Pink Hat fans and Tony loved it as an up, but I actually wrote here, Kramer getting balls thrown at him, the hose, getting sprayed with foam. What are we doing here? I mean, what? He lives in the end of an apartment. But anyway, so that's kind of an up. And then another, to piggyback on Jerry, Tony did not mention this, but a line that just really bothered me. And I don't know why, but hey, about getting the screen or fixing the screen door with Frank. And then Jerry says, sorry, I'm fixing the screen door in the Bronx. I don't know. Is that funny? I don't know what, why? Just extra writing. Is that to be wow, we're showing that, we know about the other boroughs. I don't even know what it was, but, throwaway lines that we don't need. And that was early, right? So that probably set the tone for Tony's down of Jerry. So, fix the screen door in the Bronx. Down.
All righty. That wraps up the ups and the downs. Tony, we're going to start off the grades and the wrap up of your assessment of Serenity now. What do you got?
Yeah. So horrible Elaine storyline O'Hara touched on. We didn't really get to the rabbi part of it, but the whole Elaine storyline was horrible. George's storyline is probably one of the top 5 worst George storylines of all time. We can all agree on that. I just gave Jerry as a down. So see where this is going. This episode also, as O'Hara mentioned, ruined Lippman. Just completely ruined Lippman, uncalled for. I think it actually ruined Lloyd Braun. I give O'Hara the up at the end, and I love Matt McCoy, but we didn't need this. It kind of did, in some respect, tie the bow. O'Hara mentioned to kind of round out where Lloyd Braun in the end kind of comes on top, and it's like, you know what? I'm on the other side now. I came out of the insane asylum. I'm cool, but I just feel like it kind of ruined Lloyd Braun. It definitely ruined Lippman. It kind of ruined Frank. I know I gave it up early, but it just kind of ruined Frank. And it definitely ruins Estelle, which I hate it, but it does. I mean, I didn't even know. I probably never watched the ending of this episode. I didn't realize at the end, Estelle drives her car into the garage. I don't remember that. I think I've never watched this fully through because I've just never got there. Horrible. Ruins Estelle. There's just so much here that's bad. So much here that's bad. But I'm giving a D-. I'm not giving an F. I'm giving a D-. I think, and I mentioned Elaine and Jerry, and I mentioned George. I did give K-Man an up with the foam. I get O'Hara's point. Anytown, USA, cool breeze. Lori Loughlin. I kind of didn't mind the rabbi. I love this line. I was going to use it as an up What do you care what she thinks, Jerry? Nice body, plain and simple. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not giving it an F. We'll leave it at that. That's my bone for the Serenity now. That's my homage to let's give this something here. I think K-Man barely saves it. Estelle's first, you're not giving away our water pick, saves it. It drops it later on, but it's a very, very, very fine line between an F here. But I'm giving Serenity now a D minus.
All right, yeah, it seemed like a reasonable grade from everything you said before. So, all right, Chris, what do you got for your grade?
Yeah, you keep mentioning this water pick stuff. Maybe that just went over my head because there was so much bad here. And I had an original grade. I wrote another grade, but I think I'm going to set on another grade. The more you talk about it, the more I think about it, the more about catchphrases. And to your point, all right, the Rabbi of Myrtle Beach. I mean, that's a highlight, right? That's not that good. Jerry's there. Aunt Becky. I mean, beautiful. Frank had a couple good lines, right? This is a place of business. I told you never to come in here. I like that line. But again, it's surrounded by the premise of why they're there in the first place, the stupid computer thing. And Kramer, these computers are in boxes. Kramer destroyed 25 computers. How's that possible? Unless he took a baseball bat to every one. How did he destroy all the computers? Never followed that. The I love you stuff, even the cold open, the cold open was explaining Serenity now. Isn't the cold open just to be something cool and not about the show? And I don't know, maybe that's a slight up. I don't know. But I can have as many slights up as you want. Serenity now's an F. The Kramer stuff I thought was so beyond stupid. Putting the screen door. Yeah, I know the memes. Anytime USA, the whole thing, Main Street. I guess, but we're not talking about memes here, okay? We're talking about an episode, a season 9 episode. I gotta be fair. So you call me crazy. I had a D. I went to a D minus, and then my partner here actually talked me into an F. So F for season 9.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Let us know if you agree with these grades and analysis in the comments. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see everybody at the next one. Thanks.